Is it Wednesday already? It's Wednesday already. Already. Today, we're talking about, are we at the worst part of the used car business? Maybe. Fast tracking and charging standard in the first flying car approved. EV flying car. We were just talking about this.
We were.
Can you fly a battery around? I guess you can fly a battery around. Can it work?
Can you fly a Silverado? No. You can with some big engines.
With a C-130. Yeah, whatever. Those military planes. But I don't know. Have you been getting all these storms? I see airline cancellations, and like I was shop vacuuming water out of our building last night because the rain has been nuts. Oh yeah, it was full on glamorous entrepreneur, small business owner life. I'm like, here's the glam.
This is what happens when I wake up here. I wake up, alarm goes off, grab my phone. Phone goes, "Don't go outside. It's too hot." Just like that, it yells at me.
I don't get that one. Today we got the don't go outside. There's Canadian wildfire smoke again. So apparently it's made it all the way across the world now.
What?
Yeah, it's in Europe and stuff they said Europe, it's like higher altitudes. I don't know. Thought we were done with this.
Just an impact in world
yeah, it's the wrong reason. Wrong reason to be in the news. Hey, today we have a webinar going on with our friends at CallRevu. You can go to a CallRevu and Relevant Dealer. It's about GA4, right? A lot of questions around GA4 and kind of like this is going to start at the basics, right? And walk people through. You can go, please register now. You can go to asotu.com. It's like the very first thing underneath the email sign up. Click on that. This is our first of our new format, right?
Yeah. It's going to be a 30-minute format. We won't keep you long. It's going to be a lot of strong information, a lot of screenshots. Here's what's crazy is I'm watching this week. It's like everybody's kind of been slow playing GA4. Like, yeah, some people are setting it up and there was some worries and they got events firing. And all of a sudden it's like, out of the woodwork, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, where's our data going to go? There's a lot of like new things that people aren't aware of that are going to totally change how you view your data and how that impacts like ads and deliverability and all that. So this is one to pay attention to. I would sign up for it. And if you can't make it live, just check the recording because
sign up so you get the recording.
Yep.
And again, 30 minutes in and out. Lots of information.
Speaking of lots of information,
there we go.
Segue.
I knew something was coming.
Always.
Our favorite time of year when Jonathan Smoke just starts dropping bombs on the industry. He said, "I do think the worst of the used vehicle market is upon us." That's a quote from Cox Automotive chief economist Jonathan Smoke in an interview with Automotive News. So basically, with used car prices back in depreciation territory, he says May and June could go down in the books as the worst May and June in history for used cars losing value. Smoke said, however, there's a bright side. The return of new car competition is good for the used car market, especially for the customers who have been sidelined due to the affordability issues we've been talking so much about. He predicts a strong second half of 2023 and says, I'm optimistic that every month later this year will actually create strength in the used vehicle market. So maybe we've hit the bottom.
It's interesting because it's when you hear the worst for vehicle depreciation,
right? It's like, which one is good? It's like saying uphill or downhill. Like, right. It's all downhill from here. Is that good or bad? Or it's going downhill. That's bad. It's all downhill from here is good. That's how I feel like this conversation
like practically goes. The reality is that used vehicle sales volume is not at its worst ever. It means that it has the highest level of depreciation ever. This is interesting though. If you're paying attention and you're in the used car market, whether you're a used car manager or a salesperson, typically wholesale values are a leading indicator on retail values. So margin gaps are still staying pretty strong these couple months. Now, the tricky part here is onboarded inventory losing greater value over time than you would have expected it. Watch out for your July and August inventory.
Right now.
You want to turn your inventory quickly so that you don't get into a cost to market, price to market battle to where you're going to lose money in July and August. So that's the heads up. Like you might be looking at May and June have been great. Just got to watch your vehicle values, watch your turn, make sure that you don't have like a bunch of bloat water in your inventory. So
this is where the people that have been doing the work, right? can actually perform. The people that have the system in place to do the work. And if you want to get a little more savvy on that, we'll plug it. On Fridays, we have an All Things Used Car Clubhouse room at 9 a.m. where some of the smartest people in the used car business are sharing all the secrets. So that's where the training, it's like the workout room, right? It's where people are working it out. Speaking of working it out.
Stop. Segue.
They're trying, Paul.
They are. They're doing. So as Volvo just announced yesterday that they're jumping on board with the Tesla charging standard, the SAE move. That's right. The SAE, which actually stands for, I had to look it up. This is a great name. The Society of Automotive Engineers. That sounds like there's a building somewhere where people meet and they get in a circle and there's some candles burning.
Nothing on the front, right?
Yeah. Just one door, building. No windows, right? But the SAE, I'm going to start this. As Volvo jumps on board with Tesla, the SAE moves to fast track this standard nationally. So this is seen as a major boost to Tesla's plan to expand access to its proprietary charging station, and the shift towards what is calling the NACS, but we're just calling it the Tesla standard, really marks a departure from the previous governmental initiatives to make CCS, the combined charging system, the standard. So the CCS people are a little grumpy about it, but basically when the SAE is going to get behind this and go for it, it is the fast track to getting the funding and getting the charging stations up. According to a study by National Renewable Energy Lab, the U.S. is set to install 1.2 public chargers, including 1 million level 2 chargers by the year 2030, which is, I know, do I have the button? I have the button.
There you go.
This is a year where chargers are everywhere. And Tesla, I don't know. I was going to try to live script something.
Chargers are everywhere, including on mountains, ready to charge your Jeep as you go on a mountain excursion.
Go down, before you go down. Yeah. So again, just more acceleration and fast track behind the Tesla's charging standard. The SAE seems like, they need input from government agencies and all this stuff. Yeah. So it's a little more of like the conversation, but it's moving.
It looks like we're getting progressively further on the Biden administration's goal of 500,000 public chargers. So standardizing actually speeds that up, because then the private and public companies can actually just commit to
put the money behind
production side, right? It's like, okay, we know what we're making, go build the manufacturing, the R&D, all of the processes, and get those things installed. I still think it's an aggressive goal. I'm still, my question is like, can that actually satisfy the need? When you think about how much turnover has to happen to be able to satisfy the need on like gas stations, and whether or not the turnover of public charging stations on the charging side can actually satisfy the need of the consumer. So,
there's a whole other avenue to this that we haven't talked about, and I haven't seen anywhere in the news. And that is the continued conversation around like, hey, we're having warm temperatures. There's a heat wave. Power grids are stressed. What happens when there's 1.2 million charging stations in the US drawing more power to move the cars around? Like it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like that doesn't seem like a really quick thing to get online.
No, I can't imagine. I mean, Texas right now is going through I'm trying to imagine what's going to happen in Texas.
I was going to say, I'll help you imagine that heat if you were going to say that. I was like, put your oven on.
We're going to get 101 here on Saturday on my birthday. So
sorry.
It's going to be in the field.
Well, Syracuse is a beautiful 73 today, and it's awesome. I have a long sleeve shirt on because I like long sleeve shirts. That's I feel good.
Oh, man. There's nothing else other than just feeling good about this last story. So speaking of feeling good.
Stop.
It is. It brought me back. Home brought me back.
Marty McFly's flying car was set in 2015. And while we might be a bit behind Back to the Future's timeline, Alef Aeronautics is now bringing us one step closer to a sci-fi dream, as the company's fully electric flying car, the Model A, has just received legal approval for flight from the U.S. government, marking a new era in transportation. Here's the breakdown. Basically, the Model A offers street driving and vertical takeoff and landing, called eVTOL. It was introduced in October after receiving a $3 million seed investment. It's going to have a 200-mile driving range and a 110-mile flight range.
I'll take that.
And it's already received 440 reservations. Look,
I'm so.
I hope nobody in Michigan gets to get in one of these cars because those people can barely drive anyway. Think about them flying.
I feel like a big component to these vertical takeoff is like autopilot, right? Like that's a big barrier because if you need a pilot's license to get this, right? Like I don't know if you've heard, but it's really hard to get one of those. Michael Cirillo actually is like this close to his pilot's license. He's the kind of guy. Like, can't you just see him like coming out of the cockpit of a commercial airliner?
Like the way I feel,
and the voice on the.
He would actually have like one of those old school pilot helmets, like with the chin strap. That's just how he would have to do it.
With goggles like up in the air.
Goggles up in the air. Yeah.
That would actually be a really funny
They're just
joke.
up on his head. Yeah.
I think if I was a pilot, I would walk out of the cockpit with one of those just for fun. Like, no, I'm just kidding. No, but
all right.
But
so the vehicle is set to begin production in Q4 of 2025. So we're a little bit out from actually production,
but it's close.
Already developing a 4-person sedan, the Model Z, which is expected to launch in no short timeline in 2035. Paul, so they got big dreams for long times.
I know. Like, look, the flying car thing is cool. The EV flying car thing is cool as long as a person isn't flying it. It's funny how, like, in an EV pickup, the towing, when you tow something, it makes the range go down by as much as half.
Right.
And this thing is accomplishing the same battery efficiency, but it's flying. Isn't that weird?
It's so wild. I'll
take it. I mean, we'll see. I'll believe it when
I'm
I see
interested.
It,
and I would get in one as long as someone has a pilot license or it's on autopilot.
I think I'd want substantial testing before I got in one of these because there's no like rolling stop, right? One of these things goes. Have you ever seen a drone lose its battery in the air?
Oh, it's just full drop.
It's like
full drop.
That's it.
Gone. Gone.
Brick out of sky.
Brick out of sky.
I mean, maybe they have like a built-in parachute or something.
Who knows?
That might help. That might help.
Oh, did you know there's only 2 days left in June? Did you know that?
Oh,
3,
good night.
Really. 3.
Is it Saturday close again?
No, Friday close.
Oh, Friday close is good though.
That's good.
Friday close is good. Good start to next month. Talk to you soon.